Provinces are gearing up for the resumption of the vaccination process after the Johnson & Johnson ban was lifted. The Western Cape will launch phase 2 of the rollout next month, which targets people over the age of 60. For more on this, let's welcome Premier Alan Winde, who speaks to us from Cape Town, somewhere in the Western Cape, actually. Alan, very good morning to you. Tell us how it's looking. What are your expectations? How's it working out?
So obviously, we're really glad that the eNCA program now continues. So that's already started this week again for our healthcare workers or frontline workers. We know that our next lineup is going to be the registration of 60-year-old citizens and above, and then, of course, getting our sites ready. So we're now sitting at 161,000 people that have been registered in the province of the just under 750,000 that we have in total of 60 years old and above. We are busy with the rollout of our sites because we had the initial sites used for healthcare workers, but our sites are we have 77 sites within the city of Cape Town. We have 189 sites across the rural areas of the province. We also have within the city sites 1 or 2 areas identified for mass vaccination sites that will also roll out. Then also the private sector. I think there are 131 sites in the private sector now that have also been established. So the systems all look like they're ready. We just need to make sure we get everybody registered on the system so that they can get their messaging and, of course, then get their notice as to which vaccination they're going to get, whether they just have a single shot or whether they have to come back for their second shot.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that. Are you able to scoop up everybody in the more rural areas, those that don't have access to computers? How's that working out?
So we're also using our databases from our social development departments. We've got systems engaging old age homes. We've got systems engaging through all of our data networks so that we are getting people into the system. And obviously, as soon as we get past a critical mass in this first registration round, we're going to have to look at getting the next sort of age cohort onto the system as well. But so far, so good.
Okay, let me ask you, so if I may jump in here, the fact that we haven't seen any blood clots yet, and hopefully that's not going to happen, I should imagine this helps.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we are quite lucky that Professor Linda Becker, who heads up the eNCA program, she was engaging with our teams over the last while, but also, through our healthcare system and our universities, making sure that we're monitoring not only for the 6 cases that we saw, and let's take that data out of the US and see whether anything is happening here in our region, but looking and monitoring it all if there are any potential side effects. And thus far in our province, we haven't picked up one yet. In the system that we have all the checks and balances in place. Once you've had your vaccination, you go into an observation space for a while. We have all the necessary medical backup facilities there, but thus far everything has been fine.
Premier, I'm just wondering if you've got any comment on the Indian variant that we have now seen enter Africa. I mean, it's a pretty devastating one. Are we ready for something like that? Are we ready for these type of mutations?
Well, I think, first of all, the one thing that South Africa can be very proud of is that, our doctors and our researchers and our specialists that are working with COVID-19, I mean, it was here that they detected the 501v2 strain. So we really are up on the game here to make sure we're detecting any variant coming in. And sure, we've got to be very vigilant to make sure that we're dealing with any variant that comes, because that's the nature of a virus, is they do mutate. And obviously we're monitoring very closely, because I remember in the early days with listening to all the professors about the mutations, and normally mutations weaken. And unfortunately, in this case, we saw, in our case, the second mutation that hit us was that it was more aggressive or more infectious. So, yeah, very concerning, actually.
Okay, so the sooner we get those injections, the better. Alan Winde, good to talk to you. Thank you.